Richard Nixon. The Watergate Scandal. Picture this. It's 1972, and President Nixon's team decides they need a little extra edge in the election. So what do? Break into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex, of course, because nothing says democracy like a little B&E. The burglars, about as stealthy as a herd of elephants in a china shop, get caught red-handed. Nixon thinks he's slicker than a greased pig, so he tries to cover it up. He even installs a secret taping system in the Oval Office, because why not record your own crimes, right? The scandal unravels faster than a cheap sweater. Nixon's own recordings become his downfall, proving he tried to obstruct justice. The highlight? The infamous 18.5-minute gap in one tape, which Nixon's secretary claimed happened when she accidentally pressed record while stretching for a phone. Sure, and the dog ate my homework. In the end, Nixon resigns in 1974, becoming the first and only U.S. president to quit the job. His parting words? "I am not a crook." Spoiler alert, he kinda was. Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky affair. In 1995, White House intern Monica Lewinsky catches the eye of President Bill Clinton. What follows is a scandal so juicy it puts soap operas to shame. Their affair starts with flirty conversations and blossoms into secret rendezvous in the Oval Office. Clinton, apparently thinking he's in a spy movie, uses code words like pizza delivery for their meetups. Real subtle, Bill. The relationship goes south when Lewinsky confides in her friend Linda Tripp, who secretly records their conversations. Tripp, playing the role of history's worst BFF, hands the tapes over to investigators. Clinton, cornered like a cat in a bathtub, famously declares, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky." Spoiler, he did. The smoking gun? A blue dress with presidential DNA. The scandal leads to Clinton's impeachment, though he's later acquitted. The aftermath? Endless cigar jokes, a tarnished legacy, and the birth of 1,000 late-night comedy routines. Oh, and let's not forget the valuable lesson learned. Always dry clean your dresses. Ronald Reagan administration. The Iran-Contra affair. Imagine this, it's the 1980s, and the Reagan administration is playing a real-life game of Twister, trying to bend over backwards to achieve two conflicting goals. On one hand, they want to support the Contras, anti-communist rebels in Nicaragua. On the other, they're itching to free some American hostages in Lebanon. The problem? Congress said no way to helping the Contras, and dealing with Iran, who could influence the hostage takers, was a big no-no. So, what's a president to do? Well, apparently sell weapons to Iran and use the money to fund the Contras. It's like a geopolitical version of robbing Peter to pay Paul, but with missiles. The scheme unravels when a Lebanese newspaper spills the beans. Suddenly, everyone's pointing fingers faster than a game of whack-a-mole. Reagan claims he knew nothing, giving birth to the "I don't recall" defense. The fallout? Several Reagan officials get in hot water, but the Gipper himself skates by. The lesson learned? Sometimes the just say no policy should apply to more than just drugs. Teapot Dome Scandal. Warren G. Harding administration. The Teapot Dome scandal is like a 1920s version of Oil Gone Wild. It all starts when President Warren G. Harding decides to transfer control of naval oil reserves to the Department of the Interior. Sounds boring, right? Well, hold on to your flapper dresses. Enter Interior Secretary Albert Fall, a man so corrupt he could make a mobster blush. Fall secretly leases these oil-rich lands, including one shaped like a teapot, hence the name, to his oil tycoon buddies in exchange for gifts. Because nothing says, "thanks for the oil," like a suitcase full of cash. The scheme unravels when senators start asking why Fall suddenly got rich enough to buy a ranch and livestock. Oops! Fall claims the money came from cattle sales, but unless those cows were made of solid gold, nobody's buying it. The scandal leads to Fall becoming the first cabinet member to go to prison. Harding, lucky dog, dies before the whole thing explodes. The real tragedy? A perfectly good teapot gets its name dragged through the mud. Anthony Weiner sexting scandals. Anthony Weiner, a congressman with a name that launched 1,000 puns, had decided to spice up his political career with a series of sexting scandals. Because why stop at one when you can have a hat trick of humiliation? It all starts in 2011 when Weiner accidentally tweets a picture of his congressional district to the world. His excuse? He was hacked. Sure, and I'm the Queen of England. After resigning from Congress, Weiner decides to run for New York City mayor in 2013, because nothing says "vote for me" like a history of inappropriate texting. Mid-campaign, surprise, more lewd messages surface, this time under the alias Carlos Danger. Because when you're in a hole, why not dig deeper? But wait, there's more. In 2016, Weiner gets caught sexting again, this time with a minor. This leads to an FBI investigation that inadvertently impacts Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Talk about a butterfly effect. The moral of the story is sometimes it's better to just call instead of text. Or maybe just don't. John Edwards' extramarital affair and campaign finance violation. John Edwards, a man with hair so perfect it could deflect bullets, decided to spice up his 2008 presidential campaign with a scandalous affair. Because nothing says "vote for me" like cheating on your cancer-stricken wife, right? Edward meets Rielle Hunter, a filmmaker, and sparks fly. They have an affair and Hunter gets pregnant. Edwards, showing the decision-making skills of a lemming, decides the best course of action is to have an aide claim paternity. Genius! But wait, it gets better. Edwards allegedly uses campaign funds to keep Hunter quiet, because misusing campaign money is totally fine if it's for hiding your love child, right? The National Enquirer of all publications breaks the story. Edwards initially denies everything, even going on national TV to declare, "I've been in love with the same woman for 30-plus years." Technically true, just not exclusively. The scandal torpedoes Edwards' political career faster than you can say love child. He faces criminal charges, but he's acquitted. The real victim? His hair, which never quite recovered its former glory. Gary Hart-Donna Rice affair. Gary Hart, frontrunner for the 1988 Democratic presidential nomination, decided to play a game of catch me if you can with the press. Spoiler alert, they caught him. Hart, annoyed by rumors of infidelity, challenges reporters. "Follow me around. I don't care. If anybody wants to put a tail on me, go ahead. They'd be very bored." The Miami Herald says, "Challenge accepted." They stake out Hart's townhouse and spot a young woman, Donna Rice, leaving. Hart, caught faster than a kid with his hand in the cookie jar, denies any wrongdoing. But then, oh boy, a photo surfaces of Rice sitting on Hart's lap on a boat, aptly named Monkey Business. You can't make this stuff up. And the coup de grace? Rice had allegedly asked Hart, "So is this where the heart is?" referring to his campaign slogan. Hart's witty response, "It's a long way to my heart." "Not as long as the way to the unemployment office, Gary." Hart withdraws from the race. His political career sunk faster than you can say monkey business. The moral? Sometimes it's better to monkey around in private. Rod Blagojevich corruption case. Rod Blagojevich, a man with hair so magnificent it deserves its own zip code, decided to play "Let's Make a Deal" with Barack Obama's vacant Senate seat in 2008, because why not treat a Senate appointment like a yard sale? When Obama won the presidency, Blagojevich, then governor of Illinois, had the power to appoint his replacement. But instead of doing it the boring way, Blago decided to see what he could get for it. On wiretaps, he's heard saying the Senate seat is effing golden, and that he's not giving it up for effing nothing. The FBI arrests Blago, interrupting his morning jog. His response? "I can't believe they're arresting me for this. I'm the governor." Newsflash, Rod. Being governor doesn't come with a get-out-of-jail-free card. In a twist worthy of a reality show, Blagojevich appears on Celebrity Apprentice while awaiting trial. He is eventually convicted and sentenced to 14 years in prison. The real tragedy? His hair had to suffer through prison shampoo. Eliot Spitzer prostitution scandal. Eliot Spitzer, New York's governor and self-proclaimed sheriff of Wall Street, decided to go from busting crime to, engaging in it. Talk about a career change. Spitzer, known for his crusades against corruption, apparently decided to conduct some hands-on research into the world of high-priced escort services. He becomes a regular client of the Emperor's Club VIP using the alias Client 9, because nothing says incognito like a number James Bond would use. The feds, investigating a prostitution ring, stumble upon Spitzer's extracurricular activities. They discover he spent up to $80,000 on escorts. Remember, this is the guy who prosecuted prostitution rings as Attorney General. Oh, the irony. The scandal breaks, and Spitzer resigns faster than you can say room service. His political career goes up in smoke, proving that sometimes what happens in the Emperor's Club doesn't stay in the Emperor's Club. The silver lining? At least he got a TV show out of it, because nothing says redemption like co-hosting a CNN talk show.